The history of slavery in the United States is often told from a broad perspective, focusing on the institution as a whole or the experiences of enslaved men. However, the specific experiences and struggles of enslaved women are equally important and reveal a multifaceted and harrowing reality. Enslaved women faced unique challenges, from sexual exploitation and reproductive control to their roles in resistance and the abolition movement. This video explores the specific experiences of enslaved women, their role in resistance and abolition, and highlights notable women figures who left an indelible mark on history. Enslaved women were subjected to the constant threat and reality of sexual violence. White slave owners, overseers, and other men of power frequently raped enslaved women, using them as objects of sexual gratification. This exploitation was not just a personal violation, but also a means of economic control. Children born from these unions were considered the property of the slave owner, increasing his wealth and labor force. The story of Harriet Jacobs, who wrote under the pseudonym Linda Brent in her autobiography Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, provides a harrowing account of such experiences. Jacobs endured relentless sexual harassment from her owner, Dr. Flint, and went to great lengths to protect her children from the horrors of slavery. Her narrative sheds light on the brutal realities enslaved women faced and their incredible resilience. Enslaved women were often tasked with a dual burden of labor, fieldwork, and domestic duties. They worked long hours in the fields, performing grueling tasks such as planting, harvesting, and processing crops. After these exhausting days, they returned to the plantation house or their own quarters to cook, clean, and care for their families and the families of their owners. This dual burden meant that enslaved women had little time for rest or personal care, leading to severe physical and mental exhaustion. The relentless workload and the constant fear of punishment if they failed to meet the expectations of their owners added to their daily torment. The threat of family separation was a constant source of anguish for enslaved women. Slave owners often sold family members to different plantations, tearing apart husbands, wives, and children. This separation was a deliberate strategy to weaken bonds and reduce the likelihood of collective resistance. Enslaved women, as mothers, faced the heart-wrenching fear of their children being sold away. They struggled to protect their offspring from the brutalities of slavery, often sacrificing their own well-being to provide some semblance of safety and comfort. The pain of losing a child or being unable to protect them from exploitation and abuse was an unbearable burden. Despite the immense challenges they faced, enslaved women played crucial roles in resistance and the abolition movement. Their acts of defiance ranged from everyday resistance to organized efforts to undermine the institution of slavery. Enslaved women resisted in subtle yet significant ways. They engaged in acts of sabotage, such as breaking tools, feigning illness, or slowing down their work pace. These acts, though seemingly small, disrupted the efficiency of the plantation and demonstrated their refusal to submit entirely to their oppressors. Women also formed support networks, sharing information, resources, and emotional support with one another. These networks provided a sense of community and solidarity, crucial for surviving the dehumanizing conditions of slavery. Some enslaved women took part in more overt acts of resistance, including rebellions and escape attempts. They participated in planned uprisings, providing crucial support and intelligence. Women like Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery and became a leading figure in the Underground Railroad, guided countless enslaved people to freedom. Tubman's bravery and strategic acumen earned her the nickname Moses among those she helped liberate. Enslaved and formerly enslaved women became powerful voices in the abolition movement. They used their experiences to advocate for the end of slavery and the recognition of the humanity of Black people. Sojourner Truth, an emancipated slave, became a renowned speaker and activist, known for her speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" delivered at the Ohio Women's Rights Convention in 1851. Her powerful oratory challenged both racial and gender inequalities. Harriet Tubman is one of the most celebrated figures in American history. Born into slavery in Maryland around 1822, Tubman escaped to freedom in 1849. She then made numerous trips back to the South, risking her life to guide other enslaved people to freedom via the Underground Railroad. Tubman's bravery and dedication to the cause of abolition were unparalleled. During the Civil War, she served as a scout, nurse, and spy for the Union Army, further contributing to the fight against slavery. Sojourner Truth, born Isabella Baum-Free in 1797, was another formidable figure in the abolitionist movement. After gaining her freedom in 1827, Truth became a traveling preacher and advocate for abolition and women's rights. Her speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" remains a seminal moment in the history of both the abolitionist and women's rights movements. Truth's eloquence and passion helped to raise awareness about the intersections of race and gender oppression. Harriet Jacobs, as mentioned earlier, authored Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, one of the few first-person accounts of the experiences of enslaved women. Her narrative exposed the sexual exploitation and abuse that enslaved women faced and highlighted the strength and determination required to resist and survive. Jacobs' work provided a powerful and personal perspective on the realities of slavery. Mary Prince, born into slavery in Bermuda in 1788, became the first woman to present an anti-slavery petition to the British Parliament. Her autobiography, The History of Mary Prince, published in 1831, detailed her brutal experiences as an enslaved woman and played a crucial role in the abolitionist movement in Britain. Prince's testimony helped to galvanize support for the abolition of slavery in the British colonies.